lighting. My lighting is a little off. Everything looks a little yellow. And I can see that the blur of the Mexico blur curse is back. So I'm going to try and see if I can fix that. Let's see here. Let's move that over there. For some reason, I turned this off, and it does it again. So let's see here. Ooh, yeah, that's not good. I think that's better. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay. Now, where is this thing? Okay, focus. Okay, and here we go. Let's focus manually. There we go. All right, I think we're ready to go. So today I am reviewing, I got a fancy box. Oh, whoops. I should probably make this so people can hear me. Okay, so I got this, I got the fancy box, and I also got this bottle here. So very simple bottle, very basic bottle. It doesn't pour the greatest, but it's not the worst. So if you're wondering, yes, my shirt says Fiends, and it's all the 80s cartoon villains. So yeah, you're jealous. I know. It's a pretty cool sweatshirt. There's a little more left in that bottle than I thought. But that's the end of that. I've been drinking on this for the week, and I have some. It took me a week to kind of dial in what it was that I was smelling. This is an extremely unique whiskey. It is a single grain whiskey. It says that right on the box here, but and on the bottle it says single grain whiskey. Turns out that single grain whiskey. The single grain is indica rice. So there is not. There's only indica rice in the mash bill, I guess. That's, to me, quite intriguing. So it's a $90 whiskey. So this is a whiskey that I'm not sure I enjoyed enough to ever buy it again, but I will say that it was extremely interesting because it was so different. It was so unique to the to the regular, wheat and barley and all that I usually drink. So so I found it very interesting. I enjoyed it. It wasn't displeasurable, but I'm not sure it's worth $90. $90 is a lot of money to be spending for something that isn't just absolutely phenomenal. I find that there is definitely a drop in bang for buck beyond $30-$40. Beyond $30-$40, you really don't get a lot of it. I mean, you could go on. There are some whiskey brands out there you could spend $5,000, $10,000, and more for a bottle of whiskey. You got to have stupid money to be able to do that. I'm telling you, I really don't notice too much of a difference beyond $20-$30. If you go below $20, you're in the highway to the danger zone. So, but let's see here. I'm tasting. I'm smelling um, a little bit of yeah, a little bit of caramel, touch of maple, and yeah, just a little small hint of like all the mixtures you use to color eggs for Easter. Um, it's not unpleasant. It is actually very pleasant. I know it sounds sometimes when you describe the smells and tastes of whiskey, it sounds horrible, but um, this is actually pretty good. Um, the taste, now understand, I'm at the end of the bottle. The taste to me was again across. It wasn't any single thing. It was the blend of tastes that made this so interesting. Um, and you know those little orange candies, you actually find them quite common around the holidays, but they're like these little orange slices. Uh, and I looked up on Google and I tried to find like a proper name for them, and they're just called orange slices. But they're these, they're not actual orange, it's candy, it's a fictitious flavoring. But these little orange gummy candies with like, sugar coating kind of thing. Uh, Taste a little bit like that. Um, a little bit like uh, the a good teriyaki sauce. I hate to say that. I think the reason it took me the entire week to come up with that was I really didn't want to say that about a Japanese whiskey because it seemed like it was kind of a you're just thinking that because it's Japanese. No, it took me an entire week to come up with it. Like, oh, I know what that is. It's that sweet, but has kind of a little bit of a bite to it, kind of a thing. Or like, wait, is that? Yeah, I think that's teriyaki that I'm tasting. But it's just it's a blend of all of it. Um, and yeah, so um, very interesting. Interesting color for a 10 year. This uh, it's rather light. Um, the finish is the finish. I really like the finish on this. Uh, it almost has a finish of a rye whiskey. Now it's 43% alcohol by volume, which means it's 86 proof. Uh, but because of that, almost like a rye finish, it does have a little bit more of a bite than you would expect from an 86. Kind of more of a, I would say, kind of more like a 90, 95 proof finish, even though it is 86. So I know it's got a sweetness that's kind of a combination of like drinking straight, um, I don't know, like a really good, like not just regular Coke, but like a small independent. You have these small independent craft soda pop makers, and so a really good crafty kind of cola with a really good um, like, pure syrup, kind of maple syrup kind of a thing. I don't know. It's kind of a weird. Yeah, this is so different, and that's why I think that a lot of the reviews on this are kind of just going by the standard things you say about whiskey, and they're afraid to say something that's different, um, because this is so unique. This is not what we're used to, people. Yeah, now I've never had a whiskey made from indica rice, especially I don't even know if I've ever had not sure if I've ever had a single grain. Uh, well, except for it's a wheated whiskey or a barley whiskey, but usually it's like it's got just a little bit of one or the other of wheat, barley, uh, or rye, and usually it's like a great majority of one or the other, but then just with like 10 or 5% of the other two, or one of the other two. Um, so yeah, I probably have had other single grain whiskeys, but definitely not. I don't think I've ever had anything with indica rice. So, and for this to be 100% indica rice on the mash bill, that's just bizarre. Um, I honestly got to say, I'm at the end of the bottle, and I still can't confidently say that this is or is not worth the $90. Um, it's good. I like it, but how much do I like it? I'm not sure. It's that different. Yeah, so it finishes like a high rye. Cyborn. I don't know if Cybon. I don't know if you've ever had. Have you ever had? Have you ever had indica rice whiskey? Am I alone in this in thinking that this is bizarre? And one thing that is bizarre is that it doesn't have any rye, but it sure finishes like a good rye. Um, so we got Cybon in the chat room here. Um, but yeah, so that's my thoughts on. Oh boy, I'm about to butcher this. Shimauta, 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 Ruku, Ryu, Ryukyu whiskey. Shimauta Ryukyu whiskey. I don't know. I probably totally butchered that. So, but and being a dumb American, when I see Ryukyu, I all of a sudden I fall back to my Street Fighter playing days, and I really want to say Ryukyu. Um, so, but that would be bad if I did that. So, yeah. But and I'm probably totally mispronouncing it, but that's yeah, you can make your guess of how bad I butchered that with this. Yeah, so there's that. Now, um, I also got to say this is another whiskey that uh, I did like it better towards the end of the bottle. The importance of a good aerator. Um, I would only use an aerator on this if you were about to bring this to a party, bring this to a tasting, where a bunch of people are going to drink, and you're probably going to finish the bottle in one night. If you're going to finish the bottle in one night, I would say use an aerator. Other than that, drink it as it goes, and it's a good adventure. Like with any whiskey, as it changes as the air hits it, as the week evolves, the taste of the whiskey changes, and it just has these slight subtle which keeps it interesting throughout the week. So, but I don't know if you're brave enough to slap $90. You can afford slapping $90 down on a whiskey. I highly recommend this as at least a one-time life experience to say, Oh yeah, I've tried whiskey made with indica rice. I can have an opinion on that now. Um, it's I don't think you'll regret doing it once. Um, it's very interesting, and yeah, that's what I think. So after this extremely bizarre, once in a very rare time, several years I've done this show, and I've never had this. Um, Next week I'm going to go for kind of a really standard, kind of a little more boring status quo kind of thing. Here we go. So and it doesn't get more status quo than private label, and by private label I mean store brand. um, Trader Joe's Highland single malt Scotch whiskey. Now I've never been. It's got a rum cask finish, double maturation. Um, I will be thoroughly honest and say I'm going to need to do some research to find out what the heck that means. Um, double maturation, double cask, basically. And it's yeah, it is Highland. So if you watch this show on a regular basis, you'd know that one of my biggest pet peeves is on a show or a movie when when somebody they're trying to show that the character is very dignified, and so he says, "Yes, I'll order bartender, a scotch, please." And I'm, as a whiskey snob, I'm sitting there going, that's not an order. What region of Scotland are you talking about? If you know anything about Scotch and you're not just trying to be a poser, as pose as somebody dignified, pose as somebody who knows their whiskey, you would have said Highland Scotch, please. A Speyside Scotch, bartender. Bartender, do you have a Islay that's heavy on the peat? What Isleys do you have? And you have one that has really strong, very peaty level. That's how you order a whiskey and come across as very dignified to those who know what the heck they're talking about. So this is a Highland single malt Scotch whiskey. Haven't really had a Highland in a while, but if I have to do Scotch, if I was at a business meeting trying to score, a distribution and a huge budget increase for Nerds Drink Whiskey. Like, okay, you're meeting with the guys from Discovery or AMC or whatever, and all they're going to have is Scotch. So you got to drink some kind of Scotch. I'd be like, do they have any Highland? If I have to drink Scotch, it's going to be a Highland. And I would really do my best to stay away from the Isleys. So we're gonna dive into Trader Joe's Highland single malt Scotch whiskey, rum cask finish, double cask, double maturation, however you want to put it, and that'll be next week. Until then, I strongly encourage you all to go out and get. I'm going to try to not butcher this too bad once more. Notice how I'm not saying the name of this whiskey too often because I'm probably horrible at it. But Shimauta Ryukyu Whisky, product of Japan, 10-year. I don't know if I'd want to try the stuff that's not 10-year, but yeah. So go ahead and buy a bottle of that and let me know in the comments what your experience has been with either that particular brand or any indica rice whiskey. I haven't had some of you military people might know indica, might know rice whiskey really well. I was a noob on this. I was a virgin. So, anyways, thank you everyone, and thank you so much to Cybon for hanging out in the chat room. Doesn't say much, but hey, at least I have one person live watching, and for that, I'm so grateful. If any of you want to check out the show live and kind of flip me crap or correct me or say, no, I got what I got on the nose with that one was this. feel free. I always say what I'm going to do next, so you guys can try it throughout the week along with me. And then when I review it, you can review it in the comments, and that I will read your comments. So please disagree with me. It makes it much more interesting. So, but right around 8 o'clock is when I try and go live, somewhere between 8 and 8:30, and on Sundays. And till next week, this is Nerds Drink Whiskey reminding you to always sip, never slam.